a superstar.
I've been given approval, at least indirectly by the author, to read a poem by Nikki, granddaughter. My grandpa teached long ago, and that is so. He teached days and days, and he always says cheers. My grandpa teaches and teaches, and he also gives speeches. So, Nikki, thank you.
Some of you have said he can't write, he can't talk. How the hell does he do it? Well, God did this for me. This is not hokey, I mean this. He gave me the tools, like he does with actors and athletes. When I get in the classroom, I'm different. I can relate. Training. I had 3 degrees and a PhD, and I'm a different guy. I think I'm a natural teacher who can relate. But above all, I love to do it. This is the secret. I think next to playing baseball, being a teacher is the best thing that I know. And my success can be because I loved it. And would do it for nothing, which those that know me have seen me do it.
GSPIA superstar. The hidden fouls.
Came to Pittsburgh because the Air Force had these research associate positions then. There were 10 of them. And I was in Alabama, and I wanted to do some research. And it was a great job because there was only 10 of us, and we were assigned to the Pentagon, and then we went out into the field. And we went out into the field, and one of the schools was Pitt. And Pitt was one of the schools because Wesley Posball, chancellor, had been he had graduated from West Point and had been the Rhodes Scholar, etc., had been the head of the Air Force Academy. When I was out there, in terms of poli-sci, I was in history. So I saw him, he wanted me, so I came here and I was assigned as an Air Force Major, Lieutenant Colonel, right in that building there for 1 year, which I did nothing but research and teach. And then Posball decided if I wanted to, I could stay. And promotions were tough then, to be honest with you. I had done very well. I'd published something, had done well. But they had a curve in those days. So the general had 10 people to grade, and he could only give 2 of them a 1. He could give 3 a 2, and the rest he had to give them 5. And I was working out of the Pentagon, so he had to help his own people. So the irony was it, because I had just been promoted, he gave me a 3, and he put a nice letter in there. And then he said, "You're so good, I want you to come work for me in the Pentagon." I said, "Well, you know," I figured my time was over, and I was still a young man, 42 years old, and so I decided to get out. I got a job here at GSPIA, and I've been here ever since. This is Bruce Hall. Bruce Hall was the home of my school from 1959 to 1977. I came to Bruce Hall in 1974, so I was here the last 3 years of when we were in this building before we moved across the street. Bruce Hall was unique. It was an old apartment house that had people had come here to watch ball games across the street, and people lived here, but University of Pittsburgh, which was growing, bought it out. And they put GSPIA in there, the Graduate School of Public and National Affairs, and the school was in that whole building. And I had a room all to myself, and that room had it was like a suite. I had my own bathroom, believe it or not, my own toilet, my own shower. I had closets, and it was my office, and a big desk and chairs, and it was very, very homey. At the time, we didn't think much of it, but when we left, we realized this was a great place. And the students, we had a lounge in there, and a library in there, a little cafeteria, and actually the students really liked it. And this was the birthplace. In '77, we moved out. They tore down Forbes Field, which was across the street. We'll go there in a few minutes. Forbes Field was the home of the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Steelers for a while, from 1901 to 1971.
Right play, baby. I feel it coming. Yeah!
I'd like to give a few words to my grandfather. 15 years ago, my grandfather started teaching. It was before cell phones, before iPods, and even before computers. Some would say it was impossible to teach back then, but my grandpa did it. And he did it well. Cheers to you, Grandpa.
I think it's important that you understand where I'm coming from. I had so many dull teachers in school. I had all the ones that never had time for all the papers that I never knew what grade I got. I received because the prof was too lazy to give it back to me and never answered the phone call appointments. I vowed I'd never be like that. So I modeled my classes based on what I did, to be user-friendly, never too late to apply, never too late to answer questions, always return my calls. And why I have tacky notes, they were not old and moldy, they were relevant. I think I've got one thing going for me, though, that you guys don't know. Every year is my holy day, December 7th. And so, even when you forget me, that'll jog your memories. And so I'd like to kind of close with this. And I saw the thing here, but I'll sing my little song, and then you'll remember me for this. History in every century recalls an act that lives forevermore. Around the world and into line with all, an act that happened on Hawaiian shores. Let's remember Pearl Harbor as we go to meet the foe. Let's remember Pearl Harbor as we did the Alamo. We will always remember how they died for liberty. Let's remember Pearl Harbor and go on to victory. Thank you very much. Hail to GSPIA and hail to Pitt.
Tori, Tori, GSPIA superstar.